So you're thinking about moving to Allen, Texas, but you kind of want to know the pros and the cons before you actually make that move to Allen, Texas. Well, that's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. We're going to kind of talk about the good and the bad of living in Allen, Texas. So if you're thinking about making that move, definitely stick around because we're going to get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is about living in Dallas, Texas and the surrounding areas like Allen, then subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the current market in Dallas. My name is Levi, my partner Travis, and the team and I, we get calls and emails every single day. We love it, and so whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. Happy to help you make a smooth move to Dallas. So as I mentioned, we're going to be covering the pros and the cons of living in Allen, Texas, and I'm just going to start off with the pros, and that is really going to be the shopping. I would say as far as North Dallas goes, that Allen probably has some of the best shopping around because you have the Waters Creek area, which we actually have got a full vlog tour on Allen, Texas, and we start out kind of in Waters Creek. It's a little bit of an overcast that day, but I tell you what, it's still a great area to kind of hang out, shops, restaurants, bars, and boutique shopping as well. Then you have just across the highway the villages of Allen as well, so there's even additional shopping happening in that location. And really just right north of that is Fairview. So Fairview is borders Allen on the east side of 75, and there you have Whole Foods, Dillard's, a lot of other outdoor, it's like an outdoor shopping mall in that area. But then you get to the premium outlet malls of Allen, which is probably mostly well known for. That would be the outlet center, you could say, of the Dallas area, where most people tend to go, where there's, I believe about 150 shops, give or take a few in there. Of course, the most popular ones that you can think of. So as far as going to the outlets, then you can usually save some money. They've got some great sales going on there as always, and they've got some restaurants in there as well, so you can eat. You can go there and make a full day, a full day out of it actually. We actually just did another video on Allen as well, and I kind of introed that video starting out in the Allen. It was actually what does 400,000 get you in the Allen area, and so we started out in the premium outlet center right there. So it's a massive area. Weekends it's going to get jam-packed. Parking is going to be a little bit of a challenge, so that would probably be a con of going there. But otherwise, with the premium outlets of Allen, you've got the villages, you've got Waters Creek, and then really just being on the border of I-75, everything you need is going to be on I-75. So that's also easy access to downtown. So that would be another pro of living in Allen, is you can just hop onto 75 and get down to downtown Dallas. It's only about 25 miles, but it's going to be give or take. Now, if you're commuting to downtown Dallas, that's actually going to be a con probably of living in Allen. It's a little bit up there. It's north of Plano. But when you start getting through Plano and Richardson and 635, then there's where a lot of traffic back up. So if you're going to be commuting back and forth, I would say that's probably going to be the biggest downside to living in Allen. But if you're working from home or working remotely, or if you're working in Frisco or Plano, then Allen's going to be a great location for you. So I definitely wouldn't mark it off the list in that manner. And of course, we know that a lot of corporations are moving in not just the Dallas area, but really in the Plano and Frisco area. That is growing quite a bit and is actually housing several corporations that are coming in. Just last year in 2020, about 25 corporations moved to the Plano area. So if you're going to be working in Plano or Frisco, or Addison's even another hot area for corporations and businesses to be in as well, then Allen's not going to be that bad of a spot really. But if you're commuting directly to downtown Dallas, that is going to be a little bit of a challenge, and so that would be something just to be mindful of. But people do it all the time, so it's not like it's impossible, but just something else to consider. But going back to the main pro is definitely going to be the shopping. You've got so much going on in the Allen area. All right, one of the other top pros of living in Allen, Texas is really going to be the school system. It's one of the best rated, not just in Collin County, but for Texas as well. The high school, the football stadium, Allen is definitely well known for its football stadium. It is pretty massive. And of course, Texas is just overall known for Friday Night Lights. I grew up in a small town just south of Dallas, Stephenville actually. I think they're up to like 6 state championships now. But other than that, if you're not playing football, high school football, or watching watching high school football and you're not riding bulls or milking cows, not much else to do there. But again, Friday nights is a real thing here in Texas, and Allen is one of the best, but that stadium is absolutely massive. There's actually a college in my hometown that stadium is maybe 2 to 3 times the size of the college stadium. So depending on where you went to college at, or the ones that may be in your hometown, then this stadium could actually rival those, and probably is a lot better. So it's massive. I mean, the high school alone, I mean, there's over 5,000 students that go to that high school. So it's pretty large. I would say that would be a big con of the high school, because it's really just the one high school, as to where Frisco has about 10 different high schools. So, that's the good thing that people like about Frisco, is that they break up the class sizes. There's not as many students. Or the teacher ratio student is very well balanced, and Frisco did that purposefully. But Allen, when everybody filters into one high school and you got 5,000 students, I could see how that could be, you might feel like some kids could get left out here or there. I'm not saying they are, but that is a lot of kids in one place. But that school is massive. And of course, that's why the stadium is massive as well. But at the same time, if your kid's in sports, then they're probably going to need to be high achievers there to make the team there, because it's going to be extremely competitive, as to where, like somewhere in Frisco, where you've got 10 high schools, depending on where you live, then of course, that's going to be spread out quite a bit when you compare 10 high schools to just a one. But otherwise, the school system is very well rated, A+, according to niche.com and several other websites that you could look at. Also, the area for crime is known as far as not being that bad at all. Actually, it's been rated one of the top safest schools in the state of Texas as well. So overall, and I would say that would be another pro of Allen, is that it's only about 100,000, just over 100,000 in population, as Frisco's around 200,000, Plano's are up around 280,000, and then you have places like Salina. Salina is actually slated for 350,000 residents. You got McKinney around 200,000. So almost everything around Allen is 2 to 3 times the size of Allen. Now, it's also geographically a little bit smaller compared to those other areas as well, but so if you live in Allen, you might have a little bit more of that small town feel, although 100,000 is not really small town. But, if you're going to say you live in Allen, then it's going to be more of a close-knit community there. But otherwise, less population, a little bit more concentrated. And again, you've got so much shopping, dining, and everything else to do right there in Allen. But then you're right next door to Frisco and Plano and McKinney. So I would say that's another pro of living in Allen, is you got all the great areas surrounding you on top of that. And Fairview, Lucas, like I said, McKinney, Frisco, Plano. So even if you run out of shopping to do in the Allen area, you can just bop right over to those other cities and enjoy their amenities and everything that they have to offer. So everything's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. So it's not too far. So it's centrally located to North Dallas. I would say that's a big pro for it. If you're going to be spending most of your time up there, then it's a big time pro. Now, if you're going to be spending a lot of time in Dallas or downtown Dallas, that would be a con, right? That would be a downside to having to commute that on a daily basis, or at least Monday through Friday. But again, if you're either just going to the office a couple of times a week, probably not going to be that bad. You put on some good audiobooks, or pop on your favorite music station, whatever you want to listen to. And I always enjoyed kind of riding around. But at the same time, just depends on where you fall in that. But otherwise, you're centrally located to everything in the North Dallas area, so that makes it very convenient. All right, so that brings us to a little bit of the downsides to living in Allen. Again, because it is up there, I would say north of Dallas, you really have to take that commute into consideration. However, another good side of Allen, or good thing about Allen, is that you're not too far from Lavon Lake, or even getting down to the north edge of Lake Ray Hubbard too. So if you enjoy the lake life, then you're going to have a pretty simple commute over there. You can actually just cut through Fairview and Lucas to get over to Lavon Lake. So, we talk about lake life all the time here in Dallas. You could check out, we actually have a video on the lake life. And so just to kind of highlight that and showcase it a little bit more. But other than that, we would love the lake during the summertime, boating, fishing, skiing, water sports, wakeboarding, whatever, surfing, boat surfing, all those good things that we like to do out on the lake during the summer. That's not too far being in Allen, so that's definitely a pro. But at the same time, Allen's not going to be that walkable. So if you're more of a walker, then it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. I mean, pretty much Dallas is, I would say, not necessarily a walkable city at all, unless you just live right around the corner from an area you like to hang out in. But other than that, if you live downtown, of course, in a high rise or something like that, then you're going to be in a very walkable area. Now, my neighborhood, I'm in a little historic district close to downtown Dallas, but I would say it's walkable, but I still got to walk about half a mile to get to Whole Foods, coffee, shopping, some other things like the little pocket, the little intersection where a lot of things happen. So it just depends on what mood you're in or what the weather's like that day if you want to walk around. But Allen, if you live close to one of the major shopping centers like the Premium Outlets or Waters Creek or the Villages or something like that, then of course you could say it's walkable. But otherwise, it is walkable for the sense that you're going to have probably pretty much what you need in your community. Most of these communities have walking trails, some hiking trails, just depending on where they're at. You're actually border Oak Point Park, very, very close to that in Plano. That's an over 800-acre nature preserve that you could definitely check out. And that's just a great area to go hiking, biking, running, walking, whatever you want to do. So depending on where you live in Allen, you might end up driving to where you need to get to, but there's lots of walkable spots. But otherwise, most people tend to walk around their neighborhoods. I don't know many people that walk to the grocery store or anything like that these days anyways, so especially when now you can have your groceries delivered, all that good stuff. So otherwise, now if you're in need of public transportation, that could be a challenge as well. So the Dart Rail kind of comes to a stop there in the Plano area. So you might have to get down to Plano if you plan to catch the Dart Rail to downtown, which would ease up on the commute a little bit. But other than that, Dallas in general is not really well known for its public transportation. It's definitely a driving city. So if you are thinking about moving here, bring your car with you. Don't get rid of it for sure, especially with the shortages of cars these days. So you definitely want to have that around because you're going to likely need to drive most places, if not all the places. But once you could drive to places and then get out, enjoy the walking, the biking, the hiking, all that other good stuff, and then just drive back home. So makes it pretty simple. I think we're all used to it here, so not really that big of a deal. But other than that, that's just you could look at it one way or another. It's a positive or a negative, but overall, just be prepared for to have a car here in the Allen area. Now, one of the other cons of living in Allen, we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, is going to be the traffic. And I would say if you're going to be working downtown Dallas, that's going to be the biggest thing. So just something to keep in mind because you're going to want to time out those commutes or use the Waze app. I love the Waze app. I think it's one of the best apps for traffic out there because if you're going to be going to the office in the morning at 9 a.m., then you can actually pre-program that the night before and it's going to tell you exactly when to leave. And if you set that up in ways, like let's say you need to be in the office every day at 9 a.m., it's going to tell you when to leave. It'll say leave at 8 a.m. or leave at 8:15 or 8:05 or 8:09. So it'll actually give you different times that you'll need to leave to get to the office by 9. And tell you what, that app has really never really let me down. I don't think I've ever been late anywhere using that app. It's extremely accurate. It accounts for traffic. So if there's something like real-time wrecks or accidents, then it will reroute you. And so, I think it's just a great app to have, especially someone like myself, helping people all over the Metroplex, meeting multiple clients, multiple locations. You can even program multiple locations and do it by time. And so when you're at one location, it will tell you when you need to leave to get to the next location, which is really convenient for someone like an agent like myself. Whenever you're showing multiple properties and you have appointments set for those properties, then you know exactly how long you can spend at each house to really go through that before you need to leave to get to the next one. So, and it accounts for the traffic or accidents or things that may come into play during that. So it's really convenient. So I recommend the Waze app, not a sponsorship by the way or anything like that, but they should, right? After I just gave them all that good review. But I love it, and we're always going to recommend any type of service we can for you that we find is helpful. Actually, in the description below, we have several links that will help you make your move. Definitely, probably the most convenient is a utility concierge. So you can call one number. They're going to take care of everything you need as far as internet, TV, phone, cable, gas, electricity, all kinds of stuff that they can do that in one shop and also shop the best rates for you, so you don't have to worry about trying to call 10 different companies to get everything set up. They can do that for you. That's something else. And we have a couple of other links in the description below that could be helpful for you as well. But overall, this is just kind of a good overview of the pros and cons. Hopefully it gets you started on what's good and what is not so good about Allen, Texas. But overall, everybody that I speak to that lives in Allen, or the clients that we've actually helped purchase homes in that area, absolutely love Allen. Still kind of has that small town feel, even though it's right in the middle of everything. And again, I think the pros definitely outweigh the cons, and really it just depends on where you're going to be working at. If you're going to be working in North Dallas, or working from home, or working remotely, or even traveling. Now, getting to the airport, you are on kind of a little bit of the east side of the northeast side of the Metroplex. Still, getting to the airport, it's going to be about 25 to 30 miles, or maybe about 20 to 25. And so, but again, traffic, just depending on what time of day and what time you're going, you have to take that in account. But otherwise, it's not that bad of a commute to get to the airport. But if you're going to be doing that on a consistent and regular basis, you might want to consider maybe another option. But still, it's not that bad. It's just one of those things that you'll have to map out. So getting to the airport could be looked at as another downside, but it also depends on how you're traveling or how often you're traveling. If it's just once a month, then probably not that big of a deal. But if you're traveling every single week, maybe something to consider. But again, just kind of take a look at all that before you get here. But overall, everybody loves Allen. It's a great place. And when I go up there, I love going to Waters Creek, stopping in some of the coffee shops, grabbing lunch. It's just a great spot to hang out. And again, I hope you found this helpful. And whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. Happy to help you make that smooth move to Dallas. And until next time, well, we hope to show you around town.